Welcome back to the channel, Indie Author Jill. I'm Jill Miller. Today's spotlight is on After the Syzygy by J.D. Sanderson. And I've started to notice like a trend with the books I've been doing. There seems to be a theme of fire, so I'm a little concerned about what's going to be in these books. Because with Temp and the Blueberry Viking, which was the first video I did, a giant sets the Viking village on fire. In Sephora, Shards of Secrecy, Sephora is escaping a castle that is on fire when she's like 12. In Starheart, everything is soaking wet. How is anything on fire? In Wraiths, it's everything should be on fire. In Become a Legend, everything is on fire. In Summer of Longing, I'm just going to say the poetry is fire. Rise of the Dragon Witch, Dragon Fire. Adeline Rising, there's a castle that's under fire, like literally under fire with cannonballs and flaming arrows and everything. Leaf Dust and Deadwood, he's basically got to make a ring of fire. In Last Call, there was a fire. And in this one, the very first chapter is basically, hey, Madam President, my emails have leaked, and by the way, Texas is on fire. So, if you guys could stop setting things on fire, I don't know, maybe fire makes the story better. I don't know. Who's to say? I've enjoyed all the books, so maybe it does. After the Syzygy, I feel like I'm saying that. I'm saying it so fast. Syzygy. I actually had to reach out to the author and ask him how to pronounce this title because there's no vowels. It's like I was pronouncing it Syzygy, and he says it's pronounced Syzygy. And when I messaged him on Threads where I found the book and everything, I asked him, I said, how do you pronounce this title? And he explained how to pronounce it, but then others were trying to correct his pronunciation, and it's like, guys, I'm just gonna go ahead and go with what J.D. Sanderson says. On Threads, he is, his username is a sci-fi writer. Yeah, I said I'm gonna go with what a sci-fi writer said, and anybody who is trying to pronounce this has replied with how to pronounce the title should go follow a sci-fi writer, also known as J.D. Sanderson, also known as the author of the book. Because how do you argue with the author? I guess people do. There was someone said they were listening to an audio book and they're like, oh, the narrator reads very well, but they're mispronouncing a lot of the names and words in this book. And then it says, the audio book says, narrated by the author, and the person listening goes, yeah, I said what I said. So, argue with the author if you want. Just engage with them. Absolutely. Just be respectful. Be nice. Keep it fun. Keep it light. I was kind of impressed with this because the chapters are short. They're only about maybe 8 to 10 pages long. He tells a concise part of the story with very few characters. In the very first chapter, for instance, there's only 4 characters that are ever talking. There is the president and 3 of her staff members talking. and that's it. But between those 4 interacting with each other, you get a full scope of what's going on in this chapter. In the second chapter, it's again using very few people. There's the president, there's a staff member, and then there's 2 people working in the exchange. And again, they tell the story very concisely. And there's a good continuity between each one. This whole book spans over 305 years. Over 350 years. But each chapter is a snapshot. Each chapter is a small, quick snapshot in the bigger 350 plus year story of what's happening from the time that they receive this message from outer space to the time of them finding the people that sent the message in the first place. And it takes them 350 plus years to find them and realize that, I don't know if I want to say what the message was, because that's kind of a spoilery. I'm not going to tell you what the message was. They're not wrong, they're just not correct. Yeah, and then chapter 5 pulls all 7 chapters together as a complete story when you kind of realize that there has been a common element throughout the whole story. There's 7 chapters, but there is a common element throughout all 7 chapters, and it's not until chapter 5 that you realize what that common element is. And it's more than just the decision to try to analyze this space message and figure out where it's coming from and what it means and all this other stuff. I also think that it is a great example of the importance of learning our history, because the things that happen at the end, because this skips through years. Chapter 1 is 2036, Chapter 2 is 2039, Chapter 3 is the year 2104, then it's 2192, 2235, 2389. Each chapter, chapter 6 can't happen without chapter 5. Chapter 5 can't happen without chapter 4. Like, the things that are happening couldn't have happened if the things that in the past hadn't happened. Very much like things in our history, there are certain things that if this one small thing did not happen, then we wouldn't be in this place. In one of these chapters, there's a discussion between 2 men, and that discussion leads one of the men to have a mindset change, and which moves him into being a part of the history in a different way than he was already. And what would have happened if that hadn't changed? What if his mindset hadn't changed? How would the story have been different? You know? But yeah, I think it's a great example of how something anywhere between 100 to 300 years prior to us, to where we are now, those things in our history that have happened matter, because if they didn't happen, then we wouldn't be doing the things we're doing now, or the things that are happening now wouldn't happen now. So I think it's a great example of why you need to learn your history. I just wish history teachers, if you're watching, by all means keep teaching history, but why are you taking the most interesting subject and making it the most boring? You are literally the only subject that has pirates and rebellions and oppression and uprisings. You don't have to make this boring. Math can be boring. That's just numbers. Can you tell I didn't like math? I like math. I did not like math class. I enjoyed history, but I enjoyed history when I was teaching it to myself rather than learning it from a teacher who was standing up lecturing and making it the most boring class in all of school. Don't make history boring. There's literally no reason for it. After the Syzygy is... My family is blowing up the family chat. Anyway, after the Syzygy, a sci-fi writer, J.D. Sanderson, he is a sci-fi writer. Sci-fi is one of those genres. It's like I've said before, I will read any genre. My least favorite is horror. I will still read horror because I like a good story. If you can tell a good story and make it scary, great. It doesn't have to be nightmare-inducing. Those are good too. Sci-fi is right above horror. Like I said, my all-time favorites are the romance novels. I like the romance novels, especially the like cheesy Hallmark type. But I do like sci-fi. I am one of those that do not ask me to choose between Star Wars and Star Trek. I like them both. They are very different sci-fi movies. I get that, but they are both still really good sci-fi movies and videos and series. I like them both. Don't ask me to choose. Stargate. I liked watching Stargate with my family. So just because it's not my top favorite doesn't mean I don't like it. I want to make that clear. I love a good story, no matter what genre it is. I just have some that are more favorites and less favorites. I enjoyed reading this. Like I said, I think he did an excellent job with telling a very concise and in-depth story with just very few people. I think he did a really good job of, despite the stories being, the chapters being so far apart in years, that he was able to keep it a cohesive story that worked together. And like I said, it was just, each chapter was just a monumental snapshot of a 350 plus year story. And they do put the Texas fires out. Texas doesn't stay on fire. But yeah, I would go, if you like science fiction, definitely this is a good quick read. And I can't wait to see more from him. So yeah, the links for his book will be down in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. If you want to see more videos and get notified every time that a video goes up, hit the notification bell. That'll keep you up to date on when we're publishing, because like I said, I don't technically have a schedule. I just put a video up when I get a book read. Typically. Some of them, I've read a couple of these, some of these are so small, like this, it's so short that they're, I can get them done, I can get like 3 or 4 done in a day. Other ones that are bigger might take me a week or two. So some of those I would probably schedule, but yeah, hit the notification bell, and when I post, you'll get notified. Until then, I'll see you next time.